What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. In this video, we're going to be talking about the White House Hanukkah reception. And if you didn't know, Trump participated, of course. And this, in my opinion, was kind of revealing. And this is, like I said, this is not about Hanukkah, in my opinion, or not what I'm going to talk about. I'm focusing on what was said from Trump and what was said from people who came up during this speech, so to speak, from Trump, and how revealing it was about the relationship between Trump and Israel. And I don't mean Jews or Jewish people or what. I'm talking about the state of Israel and actions that they take. It is in my opinion very concerning. Also, what is this about a third term? Yeah, that one was weird. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to watch it, and I'm going to go over a couple of sections of it. So, thank you very much for joining me here. If you are new to ClearTalk, welcome. If you'd like to check out videos from the rest of the channel, please do so. Consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all that good stuff to get more videos in front of more people. If you would like to check out videos from my other channels, JMDPLAY, Puzzling there. If you see what you like, consider subscribing to those as well. That would be amazing. If you have Patreon there, $3 a month, you can support any of the channels you would like to help grow those channels, to help grow Patreon, to help grow JMD Nation. Any way you contribute or support is very much appreciated, and I thank you very, very, very much. So that I can keep doing this. And if you're returning, you're freaking amazing. Thank you. Keep coming back, and because you're amazing, and we love you here. All right. Sorry, my mind is like a little off right now. Okay. We have, like I said, you had the Hanukkah reception, where Trump, he got up, spoke, named off a bunch of people, had some people come up and make some comments, like big name people, when it comes to politics and influence on the government around Israel. And this was very, like I said, very telling in my opinion. First, you're going to have, I think it's Mark Levin. He's going to come up, make some comments that are interesting. And then we have Miriam Adelson that comes up, and makes some comments again, very interesting. And then Trump himself making some comments later on that I wanted to point out as well. So let's swap over and check this out.
Come here, darling. And these people do like Israel.
Hold on. And he loves Israel too.
It's true.
2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. 6 years ago, I was up here, and I said, "This is our first Jewish president."
It's true.
Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We think.
Recognize how he stated that. Recognize how he states that. He didn't just say, now the first Jewish president, although, yes, Trump's not actually Jewish, but like, he's the first Jewish favored president, I guess you say, although it's really just Israel favored president. But he says, he starts to say 2 terms, but then he specifically, and then even his wife, like, helps him point out non-consecutive terms. Okay? Keep that in mind, because when we get to Miriam Adelson, this is going to be a big point. Okay? Keep that in mind.
Thank you for everything.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged. And we found out, and you see that happening. But,
And you are the greatest president.
Thank you very much.
And God bless you. I miss you. I miss you.
All right. So, yes, there's that. Then we're going to skip to about 11 minutes in. 11, yeah, right around here.
She was number one. When somebody can give you 250 million, I think that we should give her the opportunity to say hello.
You see here, he's stating out here, she gave him $250 million during his campaign, okay, which we have talked about. And that was for him to help annex the West Bank. That was the point there. I'm going to give you $250 million for your campaign to help you get elected, and in return, do everything you can to get the West Bank annexed. Same thing that her husband did back in his first term. The husband gave somewhere around, I think it was 200, it may have been more, I think it may have been a little bit more than that, 200 to 300 million for his campaign then, and that was for him to annex the Golan Heights, which Trump did. Also moving the embassy, which Trump did. Okay. This is an ongoing thing when it comes to Trump. All right. When he receives the bribes, he does what the bribes are expected. Now, as of yet, the West Bank has not been annexed, but we've still got some time. Israel's been working on the West Bank very vigilantly to in the midst of all the stuff going on in Gaza. And so it's there's no doubt that is coming. But continue, but listen to what comes next.
And Miriam, make it quick, because 250 million is not what it used to be. Okay. Hello, darling.
I mean, shit, I could do a lot with 250 million, but okay.
Darling, come in. Incredible woman with a great husband, a man that loved Israel.
Well, Mr. President, when you were in the Israeli parliament and you gave a speech and you saw me from far away, at that time I came with a scooter to the parliament just to hear you. I wanted to hear you alive. And then you say, Miriam Adelson, and I stood for a second, but it was so painful, so I sat. Then you screamed, Miriam, stand up! And I wish you would have known, but I stood up and heard all your compliment, and thank you very much.
I saw you back there standing.
Yeah, you saw me.
She stood
Thank
up
you.
bravely.
And now I met Alan Dershowitz, and he said the legal thing about it.
Think about it. Alan Dershowitz is just where I have a hard time saying his name. She just states that she just met with him, and keep an eye on what she says here.
You back there standing.
Yeah, you saw me.
She stood
Thank
up
you.
bravely.
And
Just like one of the lawyers for the Trump campaign, I think.
now I met Alan Dershowitz, and he said the legal thing about 4 more years, and I said, Alan, I agree with you, so we can do it. Think about it.
Alan's
and I
here
would be,
someplace. Where's Alan?
Alan is here, or he had a flight? Alan is here? Think about it.
Thank you.
Maybe I will be the first one who told you, or second. Yeah.
She said, think about it. I'll give you another 250 million.
You heard that right. You heard that right. They're jokingly talking about this 4 more years. She says that she would help him out again if he'd think about it.
Think about it.
Thank you.
Maybe I will be the first one who told you, or second.
See, maybe I'll be the first one to give you help in the next one. In the second, I think she even maybe said the second. I don't know exactly what she says there.
Think about it.
Thank you.
Maybe I will be the first one who told you, or second. Yeah.
She said, think about it. I'll give you another 250 million.
I will give.
But her
I will
husband,
give
Sheldon,
you.
was an amazing guy, and he'd
I
come up
will
with the
give you. Folks, if you didn't know already, your beloved Trump, President of the United States of America, Mr. Orange Man, is for sale. He's for sale. If you didn't know it already, here you go. He's for sale. He's been for sale. He was for sale his first term. He's for sale his second term. And he's for sale for a third term if he thinks about it. Now, we had the Susie Wiles thing come out. I know I keep mentioning this in videos, but this was big. It was a big interview that was very revealing of the White House and like the mentality in there and how people act and how the people think and of each other and the chaos and how everybody's kind of just doing their thing and nobody's really being held to any kind of like standard or like to like being genuine or well, not genuine, maybe what they think they're genuine, but like just being correct. I don't know. Not being held to any kind of standards outside of just being loyal to Trump. And in that interview, she makes a point to try to state and urge that, oh yeah, he jokes about it, but that's all it is. It's just a joke. He doesn't really mean it. He's just trolling people. He finds it funny, but he talks to me all the time, genuinely, is like, yeah, it would be great. It would be great, if I could do it. But I mean, I know I can't. I know, blah, blah, blah. And, but it would be great. But I don't really want to. I want to hand it off to somebody else, and let them step in. Blah blah blah. I actually find it funny that that's kind of the same thing that we heard from Biden. Remember, when he first took office, it was all about he was only going to do 4 years. But then when it came down to it, when he was, probably in his worst of health too, in the last year or so, all of a sudden he changed his mind. That wheel and field of power and trying to, honestly, in my opinion, I actually genuinely do think it was an ego thing. He thought that he was the only one that would be able to keep Trump from the presidency again. And if he were to actually go for another term, which we all knew was wrong and was a bad idea. But nonetheless, he attempted it until it was clear that it wasn't a good idea. And I think it feels to me the same kind of thing is happening here. We're seeing a decline in Trump, seeing a decline in questioning and concerns for his health, his mentality, and everything else. But also actions that he's taking, like the ballroom that he expects to be done by the end of his presidency, which I've spoke to about before, which seems a little odd that he would want to do something so spectacular but not be able to like be the president and the one in power to like take advantage of it. And that seems a little odd. And I think that genuinely he really does want another term. Now, health, aside, whether or not he'd really physically be able to actually do another term, I mean, we still are not even sure that he's going to be able to finish this term. But you have here a whole entire room of Jewish people, devouts of Israel. Now, to what extent each individual one is like devout to the idea of Judaism, of being a Jewish ethnic, or actually the state of Israel and as it performs itself, which I try to break apart. Others don't. People like this, I feel for the most part, don't. But it's particularly ones that are getting up on stage, the ones that are in the most power, the most influence, they are pushing. You heard the chants also from some ones in the crowd. 4 more years, 4 more years, 4 more years. Why? Because they've bought him off already twice now. He's given them, and like they say, he's been the most amazing, favorite, best president to Israel. Because he has given Israel and allowed Israel to do whatever they want. We've seen it. They've committed a genocide. And while Biden, it's funny enough that Biden was actually giving them quite a damn bit himself. He just wasn't completely giving them full reign to just be fucking wild. But he was still giving them quite a long-ass leash. One thing that I absolutely loathed Biden on. But Trump has just flat out given them everything they wanted. Damn near it. They cherish him for that. To commit a genocide, to do everything they can to influence where they can in trying to eradicate Islam, which is what they are really attempting to do. They blame everybody, any incident anywhere that might include Jewish people here or there, or any connection that they try to make connections to everything. Anything that is from, or whether it's a connection from Iran or a connection from any axis from Iran, they try to blame, to try to stir up the argument again, to continue. I mean, even in this, this is supposed to be a celebration in a moment of Hanukkah, like I mean, I don't know a lot about Hanukkah, admittedly, but like I take it as a large, major religious like practice for the Jewish people, much like Christmas is for Christians, kind of in the same manner to some degree. I'm not trying to completely, that's the way I've always kind of took it. I could be wrong, but like this is supposed to be, I would think, some sort of a celebration around that. It's supposed to be about Hanukkah, but what we have here was talks about the influence of Israel, the people celebrating the bombing of Iran, because he talks about dropping the bombs and how beautiful and amazing. He goes through the whole spew of that whole act, the whole procedure, the planes, the bombs, how beautiful and amazing it was, and the people cheering and yes, blah, blah, all this was all about. It just felt so misplaced from what I would have thought. And then after all of that, then they go through the process of lighting the candles, and like it seems so much like just this. It seemed more like a play, at least a political like play for people in power or people like that didn't feel genuine to, because I'm not trying to say that Hanukkah isn't something very special and like sacred for the Jewish people or something. Like, I feel like this was an act, much like at times I feel even Christians may feel certain acts done in the name of Christianity by certain people feels like out of bounds, feels wrong. I feel like this was the same sort of thing potentially for people devout to Judaism, Jewish tradition when it comes to Hanukkah. I could be, I'm trying, that's for me being respectful. And I feel like this was disrespectful. This whole celebration here, in my opinion, was disrespectful. But on top of that, like I said, like I was trying to state out there, this was all about trying to push, and they're all chanting for him for another 3 years to skirt the Constitution and what it states in the name of Israel, for him to be president another 4 years so that he can continue to let them do what they have been doing. And this woman here stating that she would give him another 250, I mean, he said the 250, but she would give him more money. She would buy him again to help him become president again for another 4 years. If that isn't alarming, if that isn't concerning for you, then I don't know what to tell you. This man's for sale. He's for sale to the highest bidder. He's always been. He's about business. He's about making money. He's about enriching himself and enriching those that he deems genetically inferior. That's what he's all about. This was very, very, very concerning in my opinion. And then he goes on real quick. We'll go, I think it was at 22 mark here, somewhere around here, where he is speaking about, I want to say speaking about Congress or people in Congress or something.
And I had a lot of fun in Manhattan. We did great. But my father would tell me the most powerful lobby that there is in this country is the Jewish lobby. It's the Israeli lobby. It's not that way anymore. You have a lot of people in.
It's not that way anymore. He was being told by his father years ago that the biggest lobby was the Jewish lobby. I think he really means the Israel lobby, but okay. And he's saying it's not that way anymore, when in fact we know it is exactly that way still. Even if it wasn't before, if anything, it's more so now. The Israeli lobby controls much, 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 much of our elections. Not even just federally, but even locally in some cases. It is huge how much AIPAC and other subsidiaries of AIPAC, because AIPAC's not the only one, it's just the most known one. How much money and influence that they put in politics from the federal level to the state level in influencing certain people, influencing with money who gets their face on the screen more, who gets more time here, who gets more word out, so that hopefully they would win the election because they know that they favor the Israeli government's positions and actions that they want to do and take. I mean, that's been the biggest thing and the biggest revelation in the past couple of years is how much influence and power the Israeli lobbying has in America, and is starting to really open up the eyes to a lot of Americans, a lot of conservatives, a lot of people who were at least at one point, and maybe still to some degree, supporters of Donald Trump, were considered themselves MAGA. And now they're breaking apart in the America First crowd. And so this was just wild to me that he said this.
Lobby. It's the Israeli lobby.
It's wild that he's even admitting to the fact that the largest lobby was the Israeli lobby. That to me was wild. Outside of the fact that him just saying now it's not.
It's not that way anymore. You have a lot of people in your way. You have a lot of people that don't want to help Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that don't like Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that, in a way, I think, Mike, we could say it, right? You're there. You're doing an amazing job, Mike Lawler. They hate Israel. They hate Israel. And if you would have told me 15 years ago that that was possible, Jason, I would have said there's no way. There's no way that's possible. But it's happening. And obviously it's getting progressively worse. Less so in the Senate, but the Senate's starting also. You get glimmers, when I'm in the back rooms talking to people, you get glimmers of statements that you say, whoa, where did that come from? So we have to be, Sid, we have to be very careful because bad things are happening. And then you see what goes on in Australia or October 7th. How about October 7th? And then you have people that deny it ever happened. How about the people that deny, like they deny the Holocaust, but you figure, well, that's just many years. Well, October 7th is not many years at all. And you have people that deny October. I saw tape that I wish I never saw it, actually. I wish I never saw it. I got to see tape that some of you got to see, but as president, I got to see things I wish I never saw. But there's no denying it. But then they'll say, oh, the tape was a rigged tape. It was a tape that never existed. They made it up. It's just propaganda. I don't know if they believe it. I don't think they believe it, but you have to be very, very careful. Bad things are happening, and we're not going to let that happen. While I'm president and the DOJ and Harmeet, we're not going to let it happen. But please be vigilant and careful because you have some bad people that are now in Congress that were unthinkable to be in Congress 12, 13, 14 years ago, 15 years ago. Within days of taking office, I signed a historic executive order to combat the vile scourge of anti-Semitism, as you know. It's the strongest executive order of its kind ever signed. And we're also mobilizing federal resources to protect Jewish students and faculty. The faculty is under siege. The students are under siege. When you look at Columbia, you look at Harvard, you look at some of these schools, what's going on. But the faculty on campuses across America and are deporting foreign jihadist sympathizers and terrorist supporters at record levels. We're deporting them. We're not putting them in jails. We're deporting them. I terminated the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. And this summer, we obliterated Iran's nuclear program like nobody's ever seen.
He goes on to state, he states that there are people in government, there are people in the Congress who hate. He used that several times. Hate. They really hate Israel. These people don't hate Israel. And he's saying this in a way where it's like they hate the Jewish people. Like that's where this is coming from. Like this is the idea. To hate Israel is to hate the Jewish people, to hate the Jewish community, to hate these are just Jew haters. They're anti-Semitic. That's the point here. That's the drive in this rhetoric. They don't. And he's specific. And he, at one point, he even specifically names out like Ilhan Omar. I think maybe even AOC or whatever. Like the those that are typically pushing back on the whole Israel narrative, pushing back on Israel as the actions that they have taken, like the genocide and stuff like that, or even his own MTG, that's breaking from him. They don't hate Israel. They don't hate Jewish people. I myself, again, don't hate Jewish people. I don't hate the state of Israel, like as an actual state of for Jewish people or anything like that. It's the actions in which the genocidal fascist government and people in power are taking. It's the actions that they are doing that, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of Jewish people, is not in the best interest for Jews or the state of Israel. And the international community at large. But even and this crazy thing is, even the Jewish people who have stated this, have pushed this, activism against Zionism, which is what's in control of the Israeli government. They're not anti-Semitic, they're not anti-Israel, they're anti-Zionism. It's the difference. But at this point, this administration has equated Zionism to anti-Zionism to anti-Semitism, which is completely inaccurate and completely wrong and disingenuous to the people that are pushing back. And then to go on and talk about protesters who, again, were protesting in the same name, in the same light, pushing back, a lot of which were Jews that were protesting in the schools. Jewish students protesting because of in those colleges that were giving money and or financing to the state of Israel, or in the name of state of Israel. It was a pushback against the actions that Israel was taking, and that they didn't agree with it. They weren't anti-Israel. They weren't Hamas sympathizers. They were not jihadist sympathizers. They wanted Israel to simply stop killing innocent people. And he goes on to state how his DOJ, his administration, is pushing to deport these people. We're not putting them in jail. We're deporting them in the name of anti-Semitism. Because apparently anti-Semitism is illegal, is anti-American. Even to the degree that they were, that's not anti-American. That's not like... It's amazing to me that the equation of, even if you were to be anti-American, anti-Israel, that equals being anti-American. Like that those two are one and the same, as if we are one and the same state. Like, that doesn't make a lot of it just that is revealing. That is revealing. And completely contradicts what he said earlier about Israel having, like, being the biggest lobby. No, not anymore. I just feel like this whole thing was very revealing of how much influence Israel has, how much influence these Zionist Jewish Israel like power is trying to inflict on American government and policy and elections and those in control to be in the most absolute favor of the Israeli government and the actions that they are doing, and to continue to do whatever they want with impunity. And that is very concerning, even to the point of averting our Constitution and what it says about the legalities around how long and how many terms a president can have. They are trying to promote and push the legal bounds so that they can try to get this man elected again. That's not me being anti-Semitic. That's not me being anti-Israel. It's not me being anti-Jewish. That's me pointing out the influence of a certain ideology of people in the state of Israel that have the most power and influence right now in the state of Israel, that many Jewish people find, again, to not be in the best interest of the state of Israel and of the Jewish people. And the influence that they are having in our own government and the people that are in power in our own government. This is a concern and this is a problem, because this is no longer like it to the point that it is equating to Israel, America, the same state. And that's not what America is supposed to be. That's certainly not America first. So I think it was very revealing. And again, brings up the questions around the whole, is he really going to? Brings up the questions around all the concerns for next year when it comes to the midterm elections, and the concerns around this, military force that they've been trying to prepare for the beginning of next year to be able to be put and placed anywhere in the United States that we've talked about before. And the true reasons behind that. All the things that they've been trying to do. I mean, this just continue every time things, come out to try to support the fact that, oh, that's just craziness. Y'all are just overthinking it. He doesn't really want to. It's not really something that he's trying to go for or that the administration is trying to do. Then something like this pops up. And it's like, I mean, really? Are you sure? But let me know what you think. Until next time, peace, clear talk. I'm out.